All right, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me out there. Just want to make sure I'm coming through loud and clear. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent, excellent. How you guys doing on this wonderful, what is it, Thursday evening? Listen, I'd like to get through. First of all, it's great to have you all here. It's awesome. I love it that you guys come to these things because, honestly, showing up to webinars is like showing up to your business. You know, and if you show up, you know that you're going to do well. So I'd like to get through a lot of information tonight and not really keep you guys too long. So I'm just to let you know, during my presentation, some of you guys know this already, I'll be turning off the member-to-member chat box. Right, so you'll still be able to send me messages, but you won't be able to chat back and forth just because it tends to be a distraction for other people and for myself as well. So we're going to shut that down. All right, cool. And if you guys stick around till the end of the webinar, which I hope you do, I'm going to I'll get you a link to a really cool tool that I'm using for creating really good headlines. I actually use it myself, and it's free, it's easy, it's something that's really cool. There's a few of them out there, but this is kind of my favorite one. So stick around, and I will send that to you if you're here at the end of the webinar. So for sure, stick around. I'm just going over my notes here. If there's anything I need to clear up before we start. Oh, can you guys do me a favor? Before we start, sort of an informal survey. At the top of the screen there where it says My Mood, if you could click on that and give me an idea of how good your copywriting skill is. Thumbs down, thumbs up for good, thumbs down for really bad, and hands up for kind of middle of the road. I just want to see if this works. Cool, okay. Good. Cool. That's actually really interesting to know. That's cool. All right, awesome. Thanks for doing that. If you click on My Mood again and then click I'm Fine, then that'll should erase your thumbs down, so you don't want to be in a thumbs down position for the whole webinar. Or change it to a thumbs up. Doesn't matter to me. Okay, cool. Okay, so in this webinar, I'd like to talk to you about copywriting. Obviously, as the presentation says in front of you, I'm assuming that you can all see the presentation in front of you, correct? Copywriting words that sell. Yes. Yes. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about copywriting. And honestly, copywriting, it's probably, next to actually making money, it's probably my favorite part of internet marketing. You know, I love being able to sell with words. I love being able to get people to do things with written words. I think it's a fantastic skill to have, and it's a very important skill to have as well. Okay, it's something you need to learn in order to be successful in online marketing, because when it comes down to it, everything is riding on how you convey your message to your readers, right? And something important to understand about internet marketing is that your customer does not buy your product because of the product. Okay, they buy your product because of how you market your product, right? So essentially, they're not buying your product, they're buying your marketing. Okay, and it's something that you really need to understand when you are out there marketing your products. And obviously, copywriting has a lot to do with the success of your marketing. I think as soon as you realize that, then you start to realize how important it is to be good at writing sales copy, right? Over and above probably everything else, any other kind of marketing that you may be doing. Because your sales copy is what makes the sale, right? You can generate traffic all day long. You can convert traffic to leads all day long, right? But if you can't sell them with your words, then who cares, man? It doesn't matter how much traffic you send to your capture page. Doesn't matter how much traffic you send to your sales page. Doesn't matter how many leads you generate. It just doesn't matter unless you can close the sale, right? And you're wasting your time if you're not closing the sale, right? Cool, are you with me? So let's get started here. My next slide. Here's the question, what's the point? So what's the point of writing good copy? What is the ultimate point of writing copy at all? Okay, here's the question for you. Maybe you guys can actually chime in and let me know what you think. But here's the question up in front of you here. What is the primary purpose of every piece of copy that you put online? Like, what's the purpose of every word, every sentence, every paragraph? Any ideas? To get an action? Yeah. What's the purpose? If you read a headline, what's the purpose of that headline? Rosemary says to make a sale. Well, that's kind of the ultimate goal of your entire piece of content, right? But not specifically for each word, each sentence, each paragraph. To get description or product, to capture the audience, sure. Yeah, Jeff has it right here. He says to get the reader to read more. Okay, and every element, this is why we write any kind of sales copy, right there in front of you. Every element of copy has one purpose, okay, and that is to get the next sentence read. Okay, it's not to make a sale. I mean, ultimately you want to make a sale, or you want to get them to perform some sort of an action, right? But when we break it down to the copy itself, the first thing you want to do is get them to the next sentence. Okay, and then after that, get them to the next sentence. Right? What's the purpose of a headline? The purpose of a headline is to get the first sentence in your copy read. Okay, and then what's the purpose of your first sentence? Is to get the next sentence read. Right? And understanding this really is crucial in getting your reader to do what you want them to do. Right? Many times we are so anxious to get our reader to arrive at the conclusion, right, to the call to action, that we forget that the essence of making a persuasive point or causing any action is how we get them there, right, step by step. Okay, so how do we get them there? Now, I just got a message here. Is the audio coming correctly? Can you guys still hear me good? I don't want to be talking to nothing here. Okay, cool. Good. I'll keep going then. I've had some trouble with this room today. For some reason, this room has been acting kind of funny, so I just want to make sure. So now that we know what the primary purpose of why we are writing, right, we can kind of drill down a little deeper into the specifics of how to kind of put all this together. Right? Firstly, we should be able to see, the whole sales funnel concept at work here, which is ultimately persuading your reader to follow through your, what's a sales funnel? What is a sales funnel? Persuading your reader to follow through your step-by-step process, right, to get them where you want to be. That's the function of a sales funnel or a marketing funnel. Okay, so now that we know how we're going to structure our writing, okay, which means headline to first sentence to second sentence, and all the way down the line, we can understand how crucial these things are when putting together our content, right? Why a strong, compelling headline is critical. Okay, that'll be obvious in a minute here, and I'll explain that. Why immediately focusing on the benefit to the reader, something to note, is so crucial. Why you must make a promise to the reader that you later fulfill, and why you got to back up everything you've said, okay, with proof, with real proof, specific proof. Okay, you see, the key here is that each sentence has to compel your reader to keep reading, to go on to the next sentence, to go on to the next sentence, and the next sentence, and so on. Okay, if you think about copywriting in that sense, it will hopefully start to make sense to you how we put together each element in what you write. Okay, and like I say to a lot of people, is to keep it simple. When you're writing any kind of copy, keep it simple, keep it conversational, which is what we need to do first. Okay, what we need to understand first. Good copy, good sales copy is written in clear, concise, simple words that get your point across. Right? It's very, very conversational. Okay, it's not that you're demanding something of your reader. You're not yelling at them. You're not preaching to them. You're talking to them, and you're kind of talking with them. It's very conversational. Okay, and having said that, the grammar, okay, doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it sometimes helps to break a few rules of grammar that you're used to following. Okay, it's sometimes better to actually sound not perfect, right? As long as it makes your content more readable and understandable, that's okay to do. Okay, and using bulleted lists or like numbered lists, excellent for simplifying what it is that you're trying to convey, right? And don't think that your audience is too sophisticated for simple writing. Don't think that they're too smart to read your simple copy, okay? Because I guarantee they're not. And honestly, they're not expecting sophistication, and they probably don't even want it, right? This is a sales letter. This is sales copy, and after all, this is the internet, right? So keep it simple, keep it clear, and I guarantee that no one will ever complain that your writing is too easy to understand. Okay, that I can guarantee. All right, so answer me this then. After you've written your content, okay, what's the first thing your reader is going to see? What's the first thing your reader sees? Let's say you have a blog post. What's the first thing they see? I'm asking you. Are you there? Picture. Oh, there's an interesting answer. Your product, your picture or video, your title of the post, a headline. These are the answers that are coming in. Headline. Yeah, exactly. First thing they're going to see, the first thing that they're going to read, first thing they're going to relate to is your headline. Okay, which is, your headline, which is the same as your title of your post, which can also be the same as, this can also reference something like your email subject line, right? Subject line, title, headline, same thing. So your headline is is your reader's first impression of what it is they're about to read. Okay, and it will dictate whether or not your reader actually continues on and reads the rest of your content. Right? If your headline doesn't work with your readers, okay, if it doesn't speak to them, right, the rest of what you've written, it doesn't matter. Right? Nobody will care if they don't get drawn in by your headline. So, first things first, you need to grab their attention. Right? The headline's the first thing they're going to see. You need to grab their attention. Okay, but a headline can do more than just grab attention. Right? A great headline also communicates like a full message to your reader. But most importantly, it absolutely must lure the reader into reading the rest of your content. Right? That is the headline's function. There's no way really around that. So really, a good headline needs to promise some sort of benefit or result to your reader. It's sort of in trade for them taking the time to read through the rest of your content. Right? Does that make sense? I'm getting behind on my slides again. I keep talking ahead of myself. So, I'll just go over some headline formats here. I'm going to go over 8 headline formats that you can kind of use as a basis for writing a compelling headline, and I'll explain why it's so important in a minute. Number 1 here is direct headlines. These are different sort of types of formats types of headlines, ways that you can go about writing headlines, right? Direct headlines, which basically kind of go straight to the heart of the matter, right? Without any attempt at being kind of sneaky or clever, right? Just like straight to the point. For example, a direct headline would be free ebook download, right? Jeff's copywriting ebook, 50% off, right? That's a headline that states the selling proposition directly. So those are direct headlines. An indirect headline, or a curiosity headline, is a bit more subtle. Okay, it uses curiosity to raise a question in the reader's mind, and it's something that kind of claims to go above and beyond what the reader may be expecting. I've said this before, it's called violating expectations. Right? So, and of course the rest of your content will answer that question and clear that up for them, right? So an example of that would be something like, I got this written down here, curiosity headline, like, learn how a high school football coach earned $143,000 online without any knowledge of online marketing. Right? That's a curiosity headline, because it goes beyond your expectations. It tells me that some football coach who isn't technologically advanced is making all this money on the internet, right? Of course, you have to back that up in your content, but that's a curiosity headline. Okay, a news headline, pretty self-explanatory, as long as the news itself is actually news, like a product announcement, right? Or an improved version of a product that's already out there. That's what I mean by a news. Think of it more of like an announcement of something that has been created or something that has happened, right? And there's a how-to headline, and these are everywhere, right? And they're very popular because they work. They really do. They work like a charm. And many advertising writers, copywriters, will say that if you begin with the words how to something, 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 if you begin with how to, it's really hard to write a bad headline, right? Because it's so easy to complete it, right? If it's a how-to headline and someone wants to know how to do what you're offering to teach them, then they're going to read it. They're going to continue, right? Making sense so far? Cool. I'm just going to grab a drink of my peppermint tea, of course. So the how-to headline, and then we've got a question headline, right? Which is it sounds easy, but it sort of has to do more than simply ask a question, right? It must be a question that the reader can empathize with or would like to see answered. All right, for example, something like a question headline like, who else wants to make more money online? Okay, that's a question. Who doesn't need 873 more leads per day? Right, well, the guy reading it's going to go, oh, I need that. Yeah, who doesn't? Right, so I'm going to continue on to read that. The command headline basically tells the prospect what he or she needs to do. Plain and simple. Right? The first word should be a strong verb demanding action, such as subscribe to my list today, or download this product right away. That's a command. That's a command headline, right? It tells you, do this. Right? Fairly straightforward. A reason why headline. You might notice that some of these are similar, right? A reason why. This is where where your content consists of like a numbered list or like product features or tips on how to do something, right? Which you then incorporate into the headline, like 15 reasons why SEO is easier than you think, right? Reason why headline, right? It's not even necessary to include the words reasons why. It's actually for example, you don't need to use reasons why this and that. You can just say, like, my headline was 15 reasons why SEO is easier than you think. Right? But you could say 15 ways to easy SEO. Right? That's another way around it, another way of doing that. Finally, in my list here, we have our testimonial headline, which is highly effective because it presents outside proof that you offer great value. Right? And this entails taking what someone else has said about you or your product or your service and then using their actual words in your headline. Okay? And use quotation marks, right, to let the reader know that they are reading a testimonial. Okay, which will continue on in the body copy, the body of the content that you've written, right? So an example for a testimonial headline would be something like, quote, "This product changed my life," end quote. Right? Something that someone has said. Okay, so there's your 8 headline formats. I mean, sure, there are more. These are the ones I came up with, but you can work with these to craft your own fantastic headlines, right? And email subject lines and blog titles. Now, here's some important things to remember about writing headlines. Okay, every copywriter knows or should know the huge importance of having a good headline. And there's a reason I'm talking so much about headlines, by the way. You should figure that out by now. Yet with some of the lame, like useless headlines and subject lines that I have seen out there and that I see every day coming into my email, it's pretty obvious that most people, or at least a lot of people, don't spend the time required to write a good headline. Right? I don't know how much time you guys spend on this, but here's something. This is called the 50-50 rule of headlines. Okay, this is not something I made up, but this is something that is already out there. It's called the 50-50 rule, and what this is according to like some of the best copywriters around, the people who do this stuff professionally, you should be spending half of the entire time it takes to write your content just on the headline. Okay, that's how important this is. So if you have a blog post that you really want people to read, you should pretty much obsess over your title. You know, and that kind of goes into the whole SEO thing as well that I talked about last time. Right, so for example, if it takes you an hour from start to finish to finish your content, you should have spent 30 of those minutes, half of that time, just on the headline. Just on the headline. Okay, I do this myself. I do this especially, I don't know about you guys, but I do this especially with email subject lines and email copy. It doesn't take me long, honestly, to write the body of an email because I have a huge swipe file that I use for emails. And I can make that part good. I know I can do that. But I'll spend way more time thinking about the headline. Way more time. Sometimes I'll write the email copy, and then I'll like take a break. I'll go for lunch or go for coffee or something like that, and then I'll come back to it and start fresh, just thinking about how to approach the headline. So I reread my copy, I reread my email or my blog or whatever it is that I've written, and then based on that, I start to write my headline. Right? You may think that the whole 50-50 rule is overkill. I don't know. But knowing how much competition there is out there for getting people to read your content and getting people to read your content over and above everyone else's content, you have to prioritize that. You know, writing a good headline or a subject line is just top of the list. Sorry, I'm just reading a rather funny email subject line from one of our attendees. Very good. I've never used that one. I probably won't, but thanks. So just to drive this home, just to drive that fact home, the 50-50 thing, here's another interesting statistic that sort of drives home the fact that headlines are really important. And this is the 80-20 rule of headlines. Okay, and what this means is that on average, 8 out of 10 people will read your headline. Okay, but only 2 out of those 10 are actually going to continue on to read the rest of your copy. Okay, and this just shows how much power your headline has and how much weight that your headline should have. Right? And how much more time and effort you should put into writing a good headline, and why it totally determines the effectiveness of your entire piece of content. Totally. Because, the better your headline, the better your odds of getting what you've written read by a larger number of people. Right? Obviously. But, remember that writing a great headline doesn't guarantee the success of all of your writing, of course. Right? Your headline still needs to apply to and relate to the rest of your content, and with your offer as well. Your headline, your content, and your offer, they all have to be in line with one another. They have to be congruent, to use a fancy word there. But, great content is great to have, but if it has a bad headline, or even a kind of okay headline, it's most likely not going to be read. Alright? So here's a couple of techniques for producing great headlines. Alright? This is not mine either, but these are the 4 U's approach to writing headline-based content. This is something that I do when I write headlines as well. Right? Your headline, is it useful to the reader? Is it useful to the person who's reading it? Does it create urgency or anticipation? Does it make them want to, I got to read the rest of this content, man, this looks cool. Uniqueness, does it create, curiosity? Does it create more curiosity, or is it the same as all the other headlines out there, which is kind of boring? Right? Is it unique? And is it ultra specific? Is it kind of generic? Like, hey, come here and make money online. Right? Or does it focus on one thing, which it should? It needs to be ultra specific. Okay, you got those things? The 4 U's: useful, urgency, uniqueness, and ultra specific. Okay, not absolutely necessary to follow these, but you know what? If you go back to these every time you write something, it will help you out. It helps me out. Okay, now after you have a headline written, after you've done your headline, go back to it, go away, and then go back to it, and read it, and ask yourself these questions about it. Right? Does your headline offer the reader a reward for reading? Right? Is it results based? Right? Are they anticipating that you're going to tell them how to do what they want to do? Okay, does it offer them a reward? What specifics could you add to make your headline more compelling, or what does it say here, more intriguing and more believable? Right? Ask yourself these. Does your headline trigger a strong, actionable emotion that the reader already has about the subject at hand? Right? And this, of course, goes back to targeting your traffic, but, it is important to be able to draw them in past the headline. Does your headline present a proposition that will instantly get your prospect nodding his or her head? This is actually a good one. Right? Does it make your prospect nod their head and go, yeah, that's what I want to learn. I got to read this. Okay? And again, could you add any elements of intrigue, right, to drive the prospect into your opening copy? Because remember, that's the whole purpose of a headline, is get him to read your first sentence. Right? So those 5 questions, 5, was there 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, those 5 questions, combined with the basic structure of those 4 U's that I told you above, they really provide an excellent kind of framework for writing better headlines. And you'll note that just about any headline that follows that framework, okay, follows those questions, follows those U's, the 4 U's, those will fall into one of the 8 headline formats that I went over previously, right? Like what were they? The question headlines, the command headlines, the reason why headlines, things like that. So if you follow this framework, you're going to end up landing in one of those categories. Cool? Is this making sense to you guys? Still awake? I got to ask you that. Everybody take a breath. Take a deep breath. Relax. Stand up, walk around, have a drink. That's what I'm going to do. While I find my notes again here. Okay, so it does. It takes work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of focus, and it takes a lot of effort. But the effort that you put in, the effort you put in will make you a better writer, right? And you will get more readers, and you will get more people reading the rest of your copy, reading your emails, right? And you'll get more clicks, right? You'll get more traffic, and ultimately, you're going to make more money, which is what we're all trying to do here, right? Okay, so now we have some good information on how to write better headlines, and I hope I've driven the point home that headlines are pretty important. I think it's pretty obvious that I've kind of emphasized that point. Okay, so as I said earlier, the purpose of our writing a headline, is to get your reader to continue to the first sentence. Right. And that sentence is there, again, to get your reader to the next sentence, and so on. And keep them engaged until your final call to action. So we know we know to keep things simple and easy to read. So it's easy to communicate your message, right? So how do we structure our content? How do we structure our stuff to make it more compelling and more persuasive? Right? Because good content structure, it's never really written in stone what's good and what's bad. But persuasive copy will do certain things and contain certain elements over and over again. Right? Whether you're writing a sales page, whether you're writing a long blog post or an ebook, the flow will determine the effectiveness of your content. So, having said that, here's some guidelines to follow when you are creating your copy. Okay, some things that you can kind of think about while you are creating your copy and creating your sales copy. First of all, focusing on the reader. Okay, make an important promise early on, right? And this includes your headline and your opening content, your opening paragraphs, that tells the reader what's in it for them. Right? What's the result? What's the end result? What are they going to get? What are they going to get for reading your stuff? Right? Never allow readers to question why they are bothering to read your content. They shouldn't ever sit back and say, oh, why the heck am I reading this again? Like, what's the point of this? What's the point of this stuff? Right? Each separate section of your content, whether that's a paragraph or a set of paragraphs, should have a main idea and a main purpose that, of course, supports the main point that you're trying to make with your content and what you're promising. Again, you don't want them to lose focus, so don't ramble on. Stay focused on the end result. Okay, and you can do that by ensuring that the main ideas in each section of your content, follows that same format, and will get them to the main point of your content. Be ultra specific. Okay, I think this is one of the 4 U's, wasn't it? Be ultra specific in what you claim to be true, and always make sure to give reasons why what you're saying is true. Okay, that means have proof, have examples. Right? When you say something that is it's unsupported by actual facts, your reader's going to step back and go, hang on, I don't believe you. This is crap, and I'm out of here. Right? Demonstrate credibility. This is a big one, especially in internet marketing when you're selling info products, right? How-to information. Demonstrate credibility using statistics. right? And references, testimonials, proof, right? When you're writing, you have to be the expert, or if you're not an expert on the subject, certainly make sure that your stuff is accurate. Make sure you got your facts in order, right? And after building your credibility and authority, make sure that you stay focused on the reader. Okay, remember I said it was conversational. You're speaking in the language of your reader, right? As you go through your content, what's still in it for him? Don't lose focus. Okay, restate. I put in here, restate the hook. Okay, and the promise that got your reader to read your stuff in the first place. Don't lose them. Very important. And of course, make an offer. Whether you're selling your product or selling an idea or selling your service, you have to actually make your offer. Okay, and you have to make a strong offer. Once you've stated your case, you have to say, well, here's what you need to do next. Right? Because I know that by the time you've read my awesome content, that you're going to want this, whatever the product is. So be strong with it and instructional when you present an offer. Okay, don't just have a sales page and then a buy now button at the bottom. Right? You actually have to tell your prospects, you have to tell your potential customers to go ahead and click that buy now button. You have to tell them to do that or they will not do it. Right? And of course, remove the reader's risk by standing behind what you say, right? Which comes in the way of, in the form of guarantees, money back guarantees, things like that. But again, instruct them to do what you want them to do. Right? And again, at the end, sum everything up in your conclusion. Go back to your original promise, right, that you started out with your headline and your first bit of content. Go back to that and demonstrate how you have fulfilled that promise, okay, at the end of your sales page or at the end of your content. Right? Make sense? See how it kind of fits together? Okay. Very well. Thank you, Ulf, for responding. Okay, so those are some of the key elements, right, in writing sales copy. And use them. Use these things to provide a roadmap for your writing. And you should see better results. Cool? Okay. Onward we go. Next section I have is features versus benefits. This is a real pet peeve I have with the stuff that I do see out there, particularly when it's promoting my products, because it's not done well very often. One of the most frequently repeated rules of writing copy, writing sales copy, is to stress benefits and results and not the features. Okay? Does that make sense? In other words, identifying the underlying benefit that each feature of your product or service provides to your customer. Okay, not the feature, but the underlying benefit that those features provide to your customer, right? Because that is what gets them to buy from you. No one cares about the features. Okay? Because nobody buys features. Nobody buys the features. They buy the benefits, right? They buy the benefits and they buy the results or the potential results, right? It's kind of like I said earlier, nobody actually buys your products. They buy your marketing, which is very true, right? But again, nobody buys features. They buy the benefits and they buy the results. And honestly, it sounds easy to do this, right? But sometimes it's not as easy as you might think, and you really have to kind of, I hate to say this, but think outside the box, right? Right? And you really have to think about it sometimes, and because you sometimes end up just kind of, I don't know what to write, so I'm just going to mindlessly spew out the features of my product, of what it has, of what you get. Right? Now here's an example of that I have written down here. Let's say let's say, for example, you have an information product that you're selling, okay, that teaches people how to write better email subject lines, right? Since we're on the subject of copywriting here, you have a product that teaches people how to write better email subject lines, which is cool. It's a cool idea for a product. Nothing wrong with that. So here we go. Here's your tagline. Learn how to write better email subject lines. Okay, now tell me, type it in right now. Is that a benefit or is that a feature of that product? What is that? What do you think it is? Learn how to write better email subject lines. Seems to be mixed opinions on this one. Okay, well, it kind of looks like a benefit. Learn how to write better email subject lines. That's a benefit for buying my product, is being able to write better email subject lines. Kinda, but it's kind of a fake benefit, right? It's a feature. It's what you get. It's what you get from the product. It sounds beneficial, right? But it's not actually a real benefit. It's certainly a feature, okay? But because that's what your product does. It teaches how to write better email subject lines, right? So what you have to do then is sort of extract the underlying benefits of that feature. So we have learn how to write better email subject lines. So think of the benefits that your readers, think of the benefits that this feature will provide to the person that buys the product. Right? Because think about this. Nobody really wants to learn how to write better email subject lines. Right? Boring. Nobody really wants to do that. What they want is the results that writing better email subject lines will give them. Okay, and that's kind of that's kind of what you have to focus on. That's what you have to nail, right? For example, actually, you guys can chime in on this. Give me some examples here. What would be a benefit of this feature? What would be a benefit of learning how to write better email subject lines? That's great. I can write better email subject lines, but what does that get me? Right. Exactly. More leads, more sales. Sales, clicks, more sales, more opens. Yeah, exactly. You want to be kind of less general and less generic than more sales, more money. Right? I mean, you don't want to say, like, if you learn how to write better email subject lines, you'll have a nicer car. I mean, ultimately, yeah, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, so, yeah, exactly. I'm just reading your comments here. Right, so the benefits of this feature would be things like get your emails read. Right? Increase your email click-through rates. Something like skyrocket your email open rates. Okay, if you buy my product, you'll be able to increase your email click-through rates. Not if you buy my product, you'll be able to write better email subject lines. Bleh. Right? You'll get your emails to stand out from the crowd. You'll catch the eye of your email of your readers better than anyone else. It will stop people from overlooking your important emails. Stop people from bypassing your emails. Right? That's a benefit of the feature. Right? Does that make sense to you guys? You guys got the idea. That's cool. So with this feature, in other words, think of it this way. With this feature, your customer gets this benefit or this result. Right? Always consider what benefit your features will have for your customer. Okay, I see people doing this wrong all the time, right? And they have the lack of sales to show for it, right? I see affiliate ads for my membership sites, right? And all they do is list off the features, right? Join this membership site and you get this and you get this and then you get access to this and you get this and then you get all these things and then you get this too. Well, who cares? How's that going to benefit me? How's that going to benefit me? For example, another example I've used in the past is in Global NPN we have an ad tracker, right? It tracks ads. It tells you where your sales are coming from. Tells you where your hits are coming from. And I see people advertise, hey, get an ad tracker here. You know, join here and you get an ad tracker. Who cares? What's an ad tracker going to do for me? Right? Where you should be pointing to the benefit of that feature. The ad tracker is a feature of the membership site. It's a feature of the product. Okay, but the benefit is, for example, you'll be able to save hundreds of dollars a month on advertising because you'll know where your sales are coming from. Right? That's a benefit, that you're going to save money by using this product. Right? Does that make sense? I hope so. Right, so again, break it down to the emotional level if possible, and focus on what the features of your product are going to do for your customer. Right, so just remember this, right? People don't buy features; they buy benefits and results. Write that down. Write that one down if you haven't. So, having said that, we should also realize that. Sort of to go back on my word here that selling the features up front, it sometimes works as well. I'm not going to say don't do it all the time, right? Because if you have more technically minded readers, it depends on who your traffic is and who your readers are. Okay, but if you have, as I said, more technically minded readers, they might already know what they want and are just looking for the features that your products have. Right? That's a fair enough assumption. But even if they're looking for these features, they still need to know what's in it for them. They still need to know why they should purchase, and why, more importantly, why they should purchase from you. Okay, you still have to close that gap even if you have the features they're looking for. You still need to make sure that they know what the benefits are if they buy those features from you specifically. Okay, so just remember that people want to know why they should buy your product. And again, why they buy it from me? Why would they buy it from me? Right? And if they can't see the benefits of that, it doesn't matter where they buy it. They could buy it from anybody, right? But you want them to buy it from you. Right? Don't assume that they're going to figure out what the benefits are themselves. Chances are, if you put a list of features up there, they're not going to see past the features. Right? They're not going to see that buying this ad tracker is going to save them hundreds of dollars potentially every month on advertising. They're not going to see that unless you write it down and tell them that, hey, this is what is going to happen when you buy this product. Right? And they're going to say, hey, cool. I'm going to save a bunch of money. I'm going to buy it like right now. Right? Absolutely. Okay, so you have to explicitly point out the benefits they'll get from your product or your service. Tell them directly. Tell them what results they're going to get. Right? And that is how you get the sale. All right? So, cool. Enough of the features. Enough of the benefits. Next question I would like to answer is something that I've been asked a couple of times, is how long should my sales copy be? Right? You guys must wonder that as well. If you're writing a sales page, should it be like really long? Should it be short, to the point? You know, and there's sort of mixed opinions about this. Should it be short and sweet or long and detailed? There are kind of some rules with regards to selling through sales copy. First of all, let's go back to headlines for a second and headline length. Okay, we're talking about, in this webinar, we're talking about online copywriting, okay, but, which is different than traditional offline newspaper, magazine copywriting, right? For example, in magazines and newspapers, I have read that the most effective headlines are always 8 words or less. It's just the way it works in magazine, in newspaper copy. 8 words or less. Those are the best ones. Okay, but, those people had less space to work with than we do on our websites and stuff, on our blogs. We don't really have space limitations. We don't. Right? And because of the way people read web pages, it's sometimes smarter to include, particularly because people have really short attention spans these days when they're reading stuff on the internet. I know I do. Because of the way people read web pages, it's sometimes smarter to include more information in your headline than you might think in order to get the rest of your content read. Okay, I mean, short headlines are easier to read, right? And they're easier to kind of scan, because that's how we read on the computer. We scan content. We don't actually read it. But the general rule for headlines is to write the shortest headline possible that also convincingly conveys a unique benefit to the reader, so they'll read the rest of your stuff. Read the body of your content, right? Remember, we want to get them to the next sentence. Okay, and sometimes you need more information just to get them through the headline, right? To get them excited enough to read your stuff. It's not always easy, okay, but it is extremely important. Now, as far as length of copy goes, the length of your sales letter, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you see those sales pages that just go on and on and on, and you're scrolling down forever, and you're like, when is this going to end? When do I get to the buy? How can I find out how much this product is? Right? You guys have seen those. And then sometimes you'll see like nice and short ones as well. Right? Because we all scan through the long sales pages, don't we? We read it a little bit, and then we scan down, okay, how much is this going to be? How much is this going to cost? I know I do. And then I go back up and I read, is this worth buying, right? But honestly, they will all convert. Okay, long or short. Long sales pages convert. Short ones convert as well, right? But it depends on the product. For some products, long sales pages convert dramatically better. They do, well, the same can be said for other products, right? And shorter sales pages. So it's kind of generic. The basic rule of sales copy length is kind of the same as headlines, right? Which is, it should be as long as necessary, but certainly no longer. Does that make sense? Not very specific, but that's sort of a rule, right? There are guidelines, though, that we should try and follow through, okay? The length of your copy that you should be writing will generally depending on these things here in front of you. Number one, it's going to depend, the length of your copy will certainly depend on your product or service. Okay, obviously the more features and benefits that a product has, remember, focus on the benefits, the more features and benefits a product has, the longer your copy is going to have to be. Okay, number two, the customer or whoever your market is, whoever your customer is. Certain people want as much information as they can get before making a purchase. Some people need all the information. Some people don't. Some people want everything. They read everything, they go down past the buy button, they read all your PSs, which is why you should always have PSs, by the way. And this is especially true, people that want all the information, right? This is especially true of people on the internet. Okay, and especially true with information products. Especially true with information products. Number three, the length of your copy will depend on the purpose of your copy. Right? What's the goal of what you're writing? Right? Because generating a lead or getting them to do something for free requires less detail, obviously, right? But an ad that aims to make a sale, you have to overcome every objection that the potential buyer might have. Okay, so the purpose of what you're writing is important. Where are we? Number 4, the price point. Here's one. The higher the price, the more copy is required to justify or create the need to buy. The higher your price, the more you're going to have to talk to them and say, this is why, these are the benefits, this is why you should buy my product, my expensive product, and these are the hundreds of reasons why, right? Because it's an expensive product. If it's a cheap product, honestly, you don't have to have that much copy because it's not a big risk on their part. If it's like $8, you're like, well, it's $8. You know what have they got to lose? $8, right? Which is not a lot to a lot of people. Number 5, it'll depend on whether your product is an unusual item. Okay, and the more unusual the product, something that your customer is not familiar with, the more you need to justify that they should buy it. The more you need to relate that product to the user by clearly demonstrating the benefits of your unique product. Okay? And some categories that your product may fall under that, well, here, I'll go to the next slide here. So if we're starting at number 1 here, if you have a product that falls under the category of a convenience product, right, which fills an immediate need, right, low price, not much thought, short copy. You don't need a lot. Just like I was saying, some people call these caffeine products because they're like bang bang and you buy them, right, spur of the moment type products. Something that needs longer products are specialty products. Sorry, something that needs longer copy are specialty products, right? Kind of unique items that are a little more specialized, right? Number 3, unsought products. Lots of copy, right? And this is when it's a product that people have never realized that their lives were incomplete without, right? Like an iPod, right? I never knew I needed to have that, okay? So get ready to write some lengthy copy for something like that. Cool. So regardless of the guidelines and the categories, the answer kind of remains the same as far as the length of ad copy goes. And that really is the length of your headline and your copy will depend on whatever works for whatever it is that you're selling. Okay? And the only way to know what works is to test different approaches. Okay, test various headlines to see which works best at capturing attention and communicating your benefits that you're highlighting, right? Test everything. Test the amount of information you provide. Does more work better at producing, that desired action because you have a higher price point? Who knows? You have to test it. You have to test it with who you're marketing to. And ultimately, to get them to go through the call to action, that's really the only answer that matters to you. Okay? So, some more stuff here. When writing headlines and writing sales copy, one thing you should not try to do is don't try to invent the wheel. Don't try to be so unique that no one gets what you're talking about, right? Go out and find sales copy that is working right now. Find stuff that is working, okay, and then use that for ideas and inspiration. We're not talking about copying and pasting here. I'm talking about using it for your own inspiration, right? It's a smart thing to do. Find out what other people are doing that works. Find out what other people are doing that's working, and then do that and apply it to your own business. Okay, and I'm not talking about finding good copywriting that appeals to you. Okay, because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you like. Okay, what you're looking for is proven copy that has been proven to work. Right? Even if you don't like it. Okay, if it works, and go with what works. Okay, for example, if you know of a product that you know has sold, millions of dollars worth. Right? Look at the copy that is selling that product. Don't think that you can figure it all out yourself. I always do that. I always look at other people's work and go, yeah, I can apply that to what I'm doing here, absolutely. And I know that it works because they've sold 1 million copies of that product. Go with what works. Okay, and find the language. This is important. Find the language that people are using. Find the language that people are using when they're asking questions about what your product provides, right? And you can find all this stuff. You can use Facebook. You can use Facebook. You can use forums, message boards. Actually, all social media is like a gold mine for finding out what people are looking for, right? And find out what they're looking, and actually, more importantly, how they're asking for it. Okay, that's where you get the lingo, the language that you should be using in your sales copy. So it takes a lot of listening. Not talking, it takes a lot of listening. Okay, so listen to what other people are saying. Listen to how they are saying it. Right, and take that language, take that lingo and implement it into your sales copy. Okay, talk to your customers the way they want to be talked to. Don't talk down to them. You know, sometimes you do that not deliberately, accidentally. You're talking down to your customer and you don't realize it, right? Because you're not talking the same language they are. Right? So we're talking about having a conversation. Have a conversation with them. Okay, that's how to do it. Cool? You guys still with me? You're all still here. That's good. Great. Yep. Excellent. Time for another drink, and I'm going to wrap things up. Yeah, man. Overwhelmed. Sharon, you're overwhelmed with what I'm talking about? It is kind of overwhelming. I could see that. Absolutely. I'm trying not to be overwhelming. I could talk for a long time about copywriting. We could go deep into this thing, but I want to get it done, and we're kind of running out of time here. So, we're going to wrap things up. So what we have covered then today, what did we cover here? We'll go back to what we covered. We covered what the purpose of every word you write is. Right? Which is to get them to the next word. Right? That sounds really simple. That sounds really stupid, right? But it's true. It's like a sales funnel. Like I said before, the purpose of your capture page is to get them to opt in. The purpose of your landing page is to get them to download your free whatever. And the purpose of that is to get them to read your email messages, your autoresponders, and then go back and buy your product, right? So, yeah, Dave says it's a great thing to keep in mind. And absolutely it is. It's a big sales funnel. Everything you write, everything you create is like a miniature sales funnel. Right? So if you learn what sales funnels are all about, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you want me to teach you, talk to me later. Next here. Yeah, Ulf says it all comes down to keeping it simple and comfortable for the customer. Absolutely. If your customer feels comfortable with how you're talking to them, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's important. Next thing here, the importance of the headline. We learned the importance of the headline. Heck, I spent half the presentation talking about headlines. That's how important they are. Right? So I guess with this 50-50 rule, I used that in my presentation. I used half the time to talk about headlines. Okay, 50-50 rule and the 80-20 rule. We know what those are, which just sort of emphasize the importance of your headlines. We learned some different headline formats. Right? Remember those, the question headlines and that sort of thing. We learned some copywriting guidelines to follow. We learned how to focus on the benefits, not the features. Man, that's an important one. To me, that's like second to writing a good headline, is making sure that you focus on the benefits and not the features. Just because I see it done poorly so often. Because you go and you have a product that you want to sell, and you instantly go to the features of what it teaches you, or what it provides you, and you go, oh, it teaches them this, learn how to do this, learn how to do this, learn how to do this. But again, it's the benefits. Why should they learn how to do that? Right? Not the features. Is that clear? Cool. We also went over how long my content should be, which is It kind of has to do with how much you test, right? It depends on what works for you, what works for your product, what works for your people. Okay? Why do I need a gasoline-powered turtleneck sweater? Exactly. You have to focus on the benefits. How would that benefit you, having a gas-powered turtleneck? I'm sure you can think of something. Steve Martin, yes. Okay, cool, guys. So I want to thank you guys for coming. This was cool. This is fun. I hope you got lots of information from me. Was this of value too? I really hope it was. I really hope it was. You guys got a lot from this? That's awesome. Cool. Cool. If you guys are interested, I don't know how much further you want to go on with your training, but I'm continuing to do these free webinars. I'll do them hopefully every week as my schedule allows for my group, for Global NPN, or for whoever else decides to come to my webinars. I don't mind, but I am offering, I'll make you an offer here, guys. I am offering in the next couple of weeks, I'm starting a brand new 6-session weekly intensive online training course that is going to take you through a whole bunch of internet marketing and hopefully spit you out the other side 60 to 90 days later with a profitable business in your hands. It'll be done live with me and a few other people. I'm limiting the group to 20 people. It's going to be a small group. It's going to be very sort of intensive, and because I really want to get some of you guys out of the struggle that I know that a lot of you are in. How many of you guys, actually, let me ask you a question. How many of you would say, put yourself in the category of struggling to make money on the internet? And you can be honest, no one else is going to see your comment. Like if I would say, are you struggling on the internet, you would say yes. That's most of you. How many of you think that would benefit you? How many of you would love to like skip ahead? I'm just sort of putting my feelers out there. How many of you would love to like skip ahead of everyone else and be in a profitable situation like 60 to 90 days from today? Cool. Okay, well, that's my offer for you. I really want to make this happen for you guys because I want to personally help you accomplish your income goals, right? And the reason I ask those questions about that is because, honestly, in my experience, I've been doing this for 12 years. I know a lot of you guys have been around for a while as well. There's no faster way to get to your income goals, to your business goals, right, than having someone who's already gotten the result that you want and have them guide you through the process, right, and like step you around the roadblocks and, avoid the obstacles that everyone else is hitting, and honestly, like shortcut your way around everyone else who is struggling in the business. And by all the yeses that I got from you guys, that's like 95% of you. Even though there's only 32 of you here, that's like 95% of you said yes. Okay, so let's put it this way. If you're not making at least $1,000 a month on the internet, and you've been around for a little while, if you're not making at least $1,000 a month, you're doing it wrong, honestly, and you need to change some things in order to get it right. Because, what we do in this business, what we do in this internet marketing business, right, it involves simple processes. You probably figured that out by now, right? Simple tasks. Internet marketing is simple stuff. It is, and if you're not consistently making money, chances are you're overcomplicating things, I mean, a couple of you said that you were overwhelmed with the information. Okay, that's fair enough. But it's because, honestly, it's because you're overcomplicating things. I know there's a lot of information going in, but you have to break it down and go, you know what? All I have to do is this. Okay? I mean, obviously the quickest way to get from point A to point B is what? A straight line. Right? But if you don't have someone kind of guiding you along that line, it's going to take you a heck of a lot longer to get to where you want to be. Right? It's going to be a lot more costly and frustrating along the way. And something that I've said many times to people that I've taught before is that the simplest way to success in any business, is finding someone, again, who is currently where you want to be, and then getting them to show you how to get there. Right? That way the road is straight, right? It's already paved for you. Right? And all you have to do is follow that road, because you already know where that road is going to lead you, right? Makes sense? Right? I see people struggling in this business every day, and I have for the last 12 years. I've seen people struggle for years without seeing any real success. You know, maybe you are one of those people, I don't know. So again, my personal goal, and what I'm starting to do more of now, is to help as many people as I can sidestep the obstacles, those things that are preventing you from succeeding. Right? So you can start seeing at least the start of a real financial success within the next 60 to 90 days. Okay? I mean, I'm going to offer to help you right now. Get you where you want to be without the distractions, without the complications, without the frustrations that are involved in doing all this stuff by yourself. Okay, so this is a live training session, a live training course, if you will, limited, again, to a very small group, no more than 20 people, right? Because I want to make sure it's valuable for everybody. Okay, and honestly, this is for people that really want to focus on creating success for their business in the next few months. And it's something I'm really excited about, because I really love it when I see people succeed based on what I've taught them. You know, it's awesome. So if you're sick of spinning your wheels, and I know a lot of people do and a lot of people are, this could be a breakthrough opportunity for you, to be honest, to toot my own horn. So it sort of comes down to whether you want to keep spending your money like this is some sort of a hobby, or actually invest in creating a positive situation, positive life-changing situation, really, for yourself. So, anyways, this is what I'm offering, guys. And because I want to make sure that you're able to attend, usually I charge a certain amount for this, but I actually took 75% off the price, specifically for this webinar and for this group. And I'm being honest, I'm not just saying that to be a sales guy. So it's like 75% off what I usually charge, and it's because I want to be fair, and I want to make sure we can benefit as many people as we can, because I want you to succeed. Cool. So I will show you guys. Oh, I said I was going to give you that link too at the end of the webinar. I'm always behind. So I set up this page where you can check it out. It's jeffishere.com /training1. jeffishere.com. You might even be able to click that on your screen. I'm not sure, because it is a PDF. Okay, and if you want to know more about me, my experience, the successes that I've had, and the experiences that I've had, you can go to the About Me page, which is jeffishere.com /bio. Okay, and that will forward you to my bio page, but what I'm all about. But the link above there is to the course that I'm putting on, which starts in a couple of weeks. So, I really would like to work with you guys if you really want to do this. Okay, I'm not asking for people that kind of want to put a half-assed effort into it. You want to do this. I want to make sure you get results. So, there's the link. If you have any questions, contact me through my blog. Or through Facebook. My Facebook is facebook.com /JeffSteven is my personal one, or Jeff Steven Connect, which is my Jeff Steven Connect, which is my Facebook page. Go ahead and like that page, and you can contact me through that. that page as well. Anyways, thanks a lot for coming to my webinar. I really appreciate you guys showing up. I know we've taken almost an hour and a half out of your time. I didn't mean to be this long, but you know, you want to get the information out there. I hope, I'm losing my voice already, and I really hope you got some good value from the information I provided, honestly. Okay, again, if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, and that link is a really cool headline link that I have used. I'm just getting it from my notes here for you guys. Where the heck is it? Actually, if you go to, this is a cool free tool online that will, you put some information into it and it spits out a whole pile of headlines that you can use for your copy, and it's one that does a pretty decent job. Some of them are crappy and some of them are good, but this is a decent one. So here is the link. I'll paste it in to the chat box. I'll open up the chat box again so everyone can see. And so if you go to jeffishere.com /headline generator, that'll forward you to the correct link. You're welcome. It is very cool. There's a few of those out there. If you look for headline generator, Google that. There's a few out there, but that's one of the ones that's easy to use. It's short, like it doesn't ask you for a whole pile of crap that you got to put in there, and it does spit out like a page and a half of kind of decent looking headlines. And if you know, there'll be headlines that you can use if you want, or headlines that you can use to create your own headlines from. Right? Use them as examples. Cool, so check out my links. And again, thanks a lot for coming, guys. I'm going to call it a night. And have yourselves a good evening, and I will see you soon. Thanks a lot, guys.